When an outbreak is declared, few words in the human language evoke as much immediate, visceral panic as Ebola. The public imagination often fills with visions of an invisible, unstoppable plague sweeping across continents. Overcoming that fear begins by shifting focus from cultural rumors to observable data. Scientific reality provides a framework to identify the nature of the threat. To understand how to control this virus, we must first examine its precise biological mechanisms. We have to look at what it actually is, how it moves, and critically, what it cannot do. Isolating the physical structure and mapping the transmission of the virus allows healthcare systems to treat Ebola as a biological challenge with specific, targeted solutions. Objectively, Ebola is a viral disease first identified by scientists in 1976 near the Ebola River, located in what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This microscopic image captures the physical reality of the threat. It belongs to the filovirus family, defined by this distinct worm-like filament structure. The word Ebola is often used as a single label, but it actually refers to a family of 6 distinct genetic strains. Out of those 6, only 4 have been recorded to affect human beings. This map illustrates the geographic footprint of outbreaks. The virus emerges almost entirely within Central and West Africa, primarily the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, and Guinea. It is highly localized, meaning it is not constantly spreading globally. Outbreaks begin with a zoonotic spillover. This occurs when the virus jumps from its natural animal hosts, typically fruit bats or non-human primates, into a human who has handled infected wildlife. Once it enters a human population, its mobility is restricted by its biology. It requires direct physical contact with the blood, saliva, sweat, or other bodily fluids of someone who is actively symptomatic or has passed away. This diagram contrasts respiratory illnesses with Ebola's limitations. The virus is definitively not airborne. It cannot float through a room, and you cannot catch it simply by breathing the same air as an infected person. Historically, rapid spread occurs through cultural practices, particularly unsafe burial rituals where family members wash the deceased. After death, the viral load in the body is exceptionally high, making direct contact extremely dangerous. Transmission remains bound to physical contact, creating a traceable path for epidemiologists. While difficult to manage in practice, identifying these contact chains provides a map for isolating cases and interrupting the spread. After an exposure occurs, there is an incubation period that lasts anywhere from 2 to 21 days. The illness begins with an early dry phase, characterized by fatigue, muscle pain, and headaches. This timeline maps the disease progression. If untreated, the dry phase escalates to the wet phase, causing rapid fluid loss. While Hollywood depicts patients bleeding from the eyes, a sensationalized image, reality involves internal damage to blood vessels and organ failure, a systemic collapse. A headache, a fever, and body aches are the same symptoms experienced during a routine case of the flu or malaria. This overlap is why early dry symptoms often cause high levels of viewer anxiety. Without direct contact with bodily fluids from a symptomatic patient or recent travel to an active outbreak zone, developing these common symptoms is statistically unlikely to be Ebola. If someone has a legitimate exposure risk, the procedure is professional and calm. The individual must isolate responsibly, avoid physical contact with others, and immediately seek medical evaluation at a designated facility. When patients receive early, high-quality medical care, primarily aggressive intravenous rehydration and electrolyte management, their chances of survival increase significantly. Defense begins at the grassroots level. Local hygiene protocols, like frequent hand washing and avoiding physical contact with the sick, form a barrier that stops the virus from jumping to the next person. These protocols rely on community trust. Education allows families to understand why safe medical interventions are necessary, helping them transition from hiding symptoms to seeking professional help. Individual compliance with safety practices is a powerful tool. When a community follows these protocols, they can effectively halt the momentum of the virus at the local level. Behind the community stands a structured global medical infrastructure. Specially designed isolation wards contain the threat, while contact tracing teams map every interaction an infected person has had. Major international health organizations coordinate these responses, deploying rapid response teams and funding to ensure local clinics have the protective gear and personnel required for an outbreak. We also possess medical defenses that did not exist in previous decades. This includes the FDA-approved Ervigo vaccine and modern antiviral treatments, providing doctors with tools to protect at-risk populations. Despite its high mortality rate and the logistical chance of rural treatment, these medical advancements provide a framework for defense. Ongoing research continues to increase survival rates and refine prevention strategies. Every time a localized outbreak occurs, it tests the resilience and interconnectedness of our global health network. It reminds us that fighting disease requires cooperation and shared knowledge. Humanity is well equipped for this challenge. Global knowledge, responsible healthcare infrastructure, and calm, unified action provide the most effective response to viral threats. Rely on verifiable science. Support rigorous medical care. Stay informed, stay safe, and spread awareness, not panic.